and good evening. Welcome back to Beyond the Trailer Park. And yes, we kind of left you rather abruptly last week. Sorry about that. We don't know what the fuck happened there. We were chatting happily away about multi-level marketing, and next thing you know, we're kicked out of the hangout with no explanation. It just said we lost signal, which we didn't because I still had internet. So I don't know. It was somebody's like, oh, some Amway person got mad and totally fried your circuits or something. So, I don't know. Is there multi-level marketing conspiracy theories too? I'm sure there is. Probably. Of course there are. And look, Beth is here and she's awake.
Yeah. Kind of got cold last week about 20 to 6. Decided to curl up with my kitty on my love seat with my blankie.
And that was it.
Gone. I was like,
I know, because I'm like texting her going, she usually hears the phone, but
the phone was off because numbnuts stepped on it.
Oh.
And stepped on the off button, and I'm like, because usually when I do that, I do leave my phone on, because I do turn it off on my days off. Because if I do fall asleep, I know Deb will text me, not that I can respond. And I was gone. I think about 11 o'clock that night, I'm like, oopsie.
Yeah. But that's okay, because, you know, somebody out in internet land didn't want us to finish the show anyway.
I know all week I've been having really strange problems, and I know other people have reported problems, although their report of problems is, oh, it's big bad brother Facebook, and it's like, if you don't,
yeah. The only thing that happened was earlier in the week, everybody's news feed went down. So yeah, like
one thing I had. Well, this person said that they were banned, and it's like, you know, and all this. It's like, if you and it's a common complaint, and yes, this person does get reported quite often. But it's like, you know, if you're that dissatisfied with the platform, leave.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't technically have a right to Facebook. Facebook is a private company, and they can do whatever the fuck they want to do.
Right.
They do whatever the fuck they want to, and it drives us totally insane. But
I know.
Hey.
Oh, hey, Matt's over in the chat. Hi, Matt.
But yeah, for some reason we're heading into busy season as hunting started technically Saturday, so we got our swamped over the weekend. It was a good busy, wasn't bad, bad busy as far.
That's all right. Is that an angry corgi I hear?
That is an angry corgi.
Well, now see, Morgan, she had to outdo herself because last week she passed the bar, so this week she had to go and fucking get engaged. So congratulations, Morgan.
Thank you.
Well, like I said to her in chat in PM, I said, why?
But Jonathan's a nice boy.
Yeah.
I mean, he survived an entire weekend with a bunch of heathens unscathed, so yeah. You know, he's a good guy.
And I need health insurance.
There you go.
Yeah, there is that.
Normal country.
Yeah. So I said before we started, I'm like, okay, so first you pass the bar, then you get engaged. What's next? The corgi gets pregnant? Because, you know, he has a penis and testicles.
It would be a miracle.
Yes,
miracle corgi! But hey, you could get lots of money for a pregnant male corgi.
That is true.
Like you could do the talk show circuit and stuff, and you know.
Oh yeah, I would be like, it is 10 grand per appearance for me. And then
Exactly.
I will go on the Today Show, and then I will take Kathy Lee and Hoda's positions.
Ugh, Kathy Lee. I can't believe that woman's still on television.
I want that job so bad. Like, all she does is get drunk and talk. Let me do it.
And you can do it with like extra expertise.
I know. And so
You'd be like, you could do a thing as the drunken lawyer or something.
there you go. Yeah, that's my thing. I can do that.
The drunken Mississippi lawyer.
Yeah, half the country wouldn't be able to understand me, but it's fine.
Yeah, because I saw that there was that "Where's your dialect from" thing going around Facebook this week, and it was like yours was what, Louisiana.
And mine is Baton Rouge and Shreveport, which are in Louisiana, and then Jackson, Mississippi, which I've lived in Jackson, Mississippi. Yeah, it was in order. It was Baton Rouge, and then it was Jackson, Mississippi, and then Shreveport. But my grandmother is from Louisiana, and she did a lot of raising me. So a lot of turns of phrase that I've picked up from her. So that's where it comes from.
So it's all grandma's fault.
Yes. But then also from living in Jackson, I've picked up some of those turns of phrases as well.
Well, I did the quiz thing because I thought, well, considering I've never lived in the United States, I should really fuck them up. It wasn't too bad. I got Detroit, which is only 3 hours away.
Okay.
And so that's not too terrible. And then Grand Rapids, Michigan, though. But I possibly chalked that up to all my years in the antique business because we used to get a lot of people from Michigan.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then, but this will make Maddie laugh. Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Well, we do joke that Minnesotans are basically like American Canadians.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, we had Maddie join us on Holy Crap the other night. It was quite fun. She had not met the Crap crew before, and hilarity ensued. They didn't know what a punster she is. They learned quickly, but before we are going to continue where we left off as much as we can, because Beth said, so what did you guys cover last week? We're like, Amway stuff. But Beth's the one with the heavy duty research on the topic. But I did want to take a couple of minutes, and I know it's kind of a buzzkill, but I wanted to acknowledge tomorrow is Transgender Day of Remembrance, and I think everybody needs to take a few minutes and just spend a moment of silence for all of the trans people that we lost in the last year. I didn't count the entire list, but there's a lot, which really makes me sad. In fact, I was telling the girls I had thought to read the whole list on the show. I can't, because I can't get more than 3 or 4 names before I start to cry. So, but you can find the list at tdor.info, which stands for Trans Day of Remembrance. So tdor.info, and they do have the full list there if you're interested. And many people have heard that Brazil is particularly terrible for trans people. I did count the Brazil section, 145 victims just in Brazil, which is just absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, Brazil's always bad, but I fear it's going to get, wilder, because they have that president who is just awful now.
He's pretty horrific. And I think, we all just need to take the time to be extra supportive of our trans friends. There's a lot going on right now that really has people, scared and depressed and just, struggling with stuff because there's a lot of people that don't think they should exist, and those people can all go fuck themselves royally. And go figure, some of the people who decided to jump on that bandwagon, the Ontario Progressive Conservative Party, which, yes, that's the party that Doug Ford glommed onto. They were having their party convention earlier this week, or they were meeting. I don't know if it's like a full-blown convention, whatever, but they got together and decided that as a party, they're not going to recognize gender identity as a thing. So, yeah, Ontario PCs, all of you, go fucking fuck yourselves royally.
I think it's a travesty that in this day and age that people have to worry about who they are.
It is. It absolutely is.
Whether my being a lesbian should not matter to anybody. I'm sorry if my being a lesbian, and if I was dating or had a significant other and decided to get married, I don't know how my marriage or how my existence would affect your marriage and your existence. If my life affects yours to that degree, then there's a problem in your life, not mine.
Exactly.
And, for somebody like Chris or Kelly, Celeste, any numerous
Maddie,
I don't want to name drop too much because I don't know how many people want their names out there, but I'm speaking of people that we know in the community. For them to have to worry about whether some jackwad walking down the street decides they shouldn't exist and pops them. They shouldn't have to worry about that crap, but that's what it's coming to.
Yes.
While I have had issues, being gay, etc., where I live, I don't live with that type of fear. Nobody.
Yeah.
And if we can't support people just for being fucking human, as much as I hate to say it, but I'm going to say it anyways, no matter how un-PC it is, go fucking shoot yourself. Get the fuck off the planet. Because you don't deserve to live if you don't want somebody else to live.
You go kiss ass with Elon Musk, and I'm sure he will shoot you off to a planet somewhere of your choosing.
Okay, go to another planet. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
It just
volunteer to get sent to Mars personally.
I mean, I know
Sorry, I was gonna say I guarantee you there's no icky people on Mars, so you just go right ahead.
I mean, I know it's very un-PC of me, but it's really disgusting to me that another human being could judge somebody so harshly, to judge them out of existence just because of who they are.
Yeah.
And to me, that's not what it means to be human. We're supposed to be the rational ones on this planet. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking my cat's more rational than some of the people I know. And my cat's pretty squirrely. Okay, when you rip around an apartment, that's maybe 14 by 14, and it's kind of small, but I like it. I mean, my whole back shelf behind me used to have a bunch of knickknacks out. Well, he's managed to destroy all them. But yeah, my cat's a little more sane than people who want to write other people out of existence just because of who they are.
There was a meme going around earlier this week I quite liked, and it said to the effect, we should start talking to like homophobes and transphobes and, you know, bigots the way that they talk to like LGBT folks. So, like, you know, I really just don't approve of your lifestyle. Like, you know, you shouldn't maybe broadcast that you're conservative. You know, can you not just do that at home?
Well, that's the thing. It's like, you know, I am who I am. Okay? I've been this way since, at least 5 years old that I can remember. I haven't changed.
Yeah.
I've gotten fatter and my boobs have gotten bigger. Okay? But as far as my personality, how I carry myself, etc., none of that has changed.
Yeah.
In the 40-odd years 40-odd plus years I've been alive. I mean, I still dress the same. I still hate dresses. I don't wear heels. I did that for 1 year, and that was the most painful thing.
I couldn't even picture you. Like, that would just be too weird.
I'll have to. I have a couple old pictures. I'll see.
Oh, damn.
I'm actually in a dress, believe it or not, with 2-inch heels, maybe 3-inch heels.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when I was band and choir in college, we had to wear dresses. Well, I put a stop to that when they said I had to wear a skirt. I played French horn. Now, French horn players generally sit with their legs apart to hold the bell of the horn. I'm like, oh, fuck that shit. I'm not sitting with my legs spread in a frickin' skirt.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm wearing pants. Sorry. You know, but yeah, I wore dresses, believe it or not, but they were not my thing. I'm sorry, I look like a duck when I walk in heels. Even more so than when sneakers. I don't think I could even do heels now without falling. But yeah, it's like, but I haven't changed. And I can pretty much rest assured that the only thing that's changed about Kaylee or Maddie or Chris is the fact that they are more comfortable in their own skin. They are who they were meant to be.
Well, and of course the woman who put forward this resolution to the party, to the PC party, Tanya Granick Allen, she was actually running for an office in the provincial election. Doug Ford actually booted her as a candidate because of her homophobic stances.
Yeah.
Morgan's face. What?
Okay,
Doug Ford kicked her out?
Pretty extreme then.
Oh yeah, she is Ann Coulter level of cunt. although I got kind of go with the expression, you know, and those people can't be cunts because they lack the depth and warmth that cunts have.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. It's good.
I kind of like that too. But anyway, bitch from hell. Yeah. So Tanya Granick Allen, go fuck yourself too and take your fucking bigot party with you. So yes. But
so much for a downer movie. Now you got all three of our bloods pumping because we're like, fuck with our trans friends and we'll fuck with you.
Fucking right. Mm-hmm. But yeah, and if you want to tomorrow do something in remembrance a little more than, you know, just taking some time in yourself, check locally where you are, because a lot of places will have remembrance ceremonies and events going on tomorrow. So check with your local LGBT groups, and somebody will probably be able to let you know. I know there's always one in Toronto and one in Hamilton. I would love to go, but my Sam has to work, so I'm gonna just do. I figured this is something I can do, even though I can't go anywhere tomorrow. But yeah, so definitely do that. And you know what? Like a lot of our friends have been saying lately, if you know any trans people, let them know that you're there for them, that you support them, that you will be their friend, anything like that, because the whole community is really having a hard time right now, and they need all the support they can get. So go if they like to, go hug a trans person. And if they don't, then do whatever they like. Give them a handshake, whatever. I love a couple of videos I've seen lately of children's classrooms where they do a diagram. It's like, would you like a hug or a fist bump or a handshake or I love that. A dance, I think that's so cool because
about those.
It doesn't make the kids who don't like physical contact feel at a place. I really like that because there's a lot of reasons why people may not want a hug, and there's nothing wrong with that. But anyway, I'm off on a tangent again. So anyway, multi-level marketing. I know when we got cut off, I was talking about how Avon had sort of created a secondary market of collectibles for itself. And I was talking about the red glass stuff that I collected. And believe it or not, Avon also has a market of these absolutely horrible, tacky perfume bottles that they've marketed over the years. Beth!
Don't ask me why, because it's like so not me, but I have this really odd sense of things that I like to collect or try to collect. Usually I start out with great intentions and then my finances crash and that's the first thing to go. But yeah, they used to have some really, really tacky.
Oh, they're horrible. So my mother used to keep some of them. So in this picture, my mother, I remember all 4 of those. They're hideous. And the perfumes were pretty gross too.
Trust me, that's the first thing that went.
Oh, look, there's another one. I don't remember the plain blue one, but the other 3, we had all of those at one point.
That's wild.
Oh, but they weren't just like figurines like that. I don't know if these are any much bigger, but they were all kinds of weird shapes and shit. So some of these, like there's a bell-shaped one in the background. My mom had that. I remember the giraffe.
Yeah, what the fuck?
I don't even remember. Like, to me, they all smelled the same, like that cheap dollar store perfume smell.
That's the thing with MLM in general, is that they come up with these niche ideas, con their distributors into trying to sell them, and in the end, some of them might become collector's items, but in the long run, it's the higher echelon people that are going to make money off of it.
Yeah, and I've seen less companies doing that. Like, it seems to be more, what I'm seeing is like a lot of weight loss products and a lot of like essential oil products and stuff like that, where it's like, oh, it's a lifestyle. It's not just like makeup or whatever. And I do see like the big makeup one that's the most MLM-y to me. It's unique, but which I've seen a lot of people, get into that and sell that in my region. But I'm seeing more weight loss products than anything. And
well, that's the in thing these days.
Well, I mean, it always is.
Well, case in point is the bullshit with Jillian Epperly and her cabbage shit. Cabbage shit. I mean, not that she's going MLM, but this is how easy it is for a person or an individual company to start a fad, so to speak, and then be able to market it. I mean, come on, jade fucking eggs.
Yeah.
Up your hoo-hoo. Hello.
And call it goop.
Yeah, of all goop, what a name. But it's just like, did you guys go over what the whole idea what MLM is?
Yeah, it's basically like
Yeah.
you're a lot of these companies, and why they also started selling products because of Amway v.
Right.
FTC,
Yep.
and that, and then how also there's a lot of political power behind that decision as well, and how that differed from Holiday Magic. And then I talked about how let's see, just how it sort of they prey on women, particularly Mormons, and that intersection between religious communities like evangelicals and Mormons, and
Yeah.
multi-level marketing. But
Yeah.
we talked about how while they are, a lot of these places, they are selling products, the main thing they do is, you have to try and recruit people to level up in the company.
The down levels.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing, and that's why there is a minute difference between a Ponzi pyramid scheme and a pyramid. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
all hierarchical organizations, whether they're businesses or whether they're an atheist organization or some other secular, there's always a hierarchy. There's no way around it. But with the MLMs, is the only way you're gonna make money is by recruiting more, because really, if you think about it, my parents were into Shackley when I was growing up. They had good product. In fact, Shackley and Amway used to compete where I grew up in Buffalo, because we got the Amway shit, and then we were trying to bring Shackley into the Western New York area from my aunt who lived in California at the time, because it was more of a Western. And the whole thing was, yeah, my aunt and uncle were kind of in that level where they did make money off of the Shackley,
Mm-hmm.
but they had people under them, my parents being one of them. The good thing about that for my parents was that my aunt and uncle didn't push them to try to recruit other people. Okay?
Yeah.
It stopped with my parents. Main thing was that my parents could get the product that they wanted without any of that other bullshit. But I have a friend who got involved with Amway probably about 10 years later, so about 1980-ish. And I mean, she tried and tried and tried and tried and tried to get me to sell Amway. And I was like, darling, I couldn't even sell you a pencil if you needed one.
Yeah, they don't care. Even if you're not good at it, that's the thing.
I am probably the world's worst salesman. Although I did pretty good at Wendy's at upselling, but that's a whole nother ballgame. But I could sell you a pencil if you needed one. Okay? I suck at selling. I don't like pressuring people into buying something they don't want. That's just not my shtick. I mean, if you
And
want
that's with a lot of people, but what they tell you is, oh, you just have to have a positive mindset, or, oh, you just have to open up more, or, people will see you being positive and they'll be naturally attracted to that. And the thing is, these people who are recruiting people, they'll always say things like, oh, I thought you'd be perfect for this type of business, or, oh, you'd be so good at this. And really, they don't care about that. It's all about getting somebody under them.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, one of the things that turned me off of Amway, and it's not just specifically Amway, there just happened to be my example because that's who I dealt with, was that I couldn't afford their products even to begin with. So I couldn't say, oh, well, I've used it. It's like, dude, I can't even afford what you're selling.
Mm-hmm.
So why would I want to try to sell this crap to somebody else? If I can't afford it, they're not going to be able to afford it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's one of the biggest downfalls of MLM is people will end up with a garage full of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we mentioned that, and then
LuLaRoe, and
and they end up buying it themselves to keep their numbers up because they can't sell it.
Right, and that's the thing, and that's where the danger lies. But when you have a actual product, you may be able to get rid of it, but chances are you're not going to be able to, because most, like, yeah.
Well, it's so easy to saturate your own market if you're just selling to your neighbors and coworkers and friends and whatever. I mean,
yeah, there was a video out. I don't remember when the video was put out, and I can't remember. I know I have it in my files, but it was saying that after the 13th level, that is everybody in the U.S. That's it. You have nobody else to sell to.
yeah.
Because you're all trying to sell to each other. So basically, I think mathematically, they figured out that you have your top, next level, you, and then your downline. By the time you get to that 13th level, you completely saturated the market to the point where there is nobody to sell to. They're all.
Avon, I think, was able to do better because they're short-term consumables.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. Avon, while they are an MLM, in my opinion, they have a marketable product. I buy Avon. There's a powder that only Avon has. When I buy it, I usually buy 10 to 15 canisters. Because, like, if they run out, I'm fucking screwed because it's the only powder I like. And I use it to, I sprinkle it on my bed, whatever. I like the scent. It's not overly flowery. It's got a little bit of kick. It's a nice scent for me. Although, I do have.
And Avon was always good at diversifying their offerings. Like they had. Yes, they were heavy on the cosmetics, but they knew, as I said, they know how to get a foothold in that collectible niche, and not just like their ugly perfume bottles, but they would always have like an annual Christmas ornament, or they would always have like the red glass. Oh, I was showing off my Avon. It's called the Cape Cod glass, and like everything you can,
because it looks like a penis, kind of.
That's it. Yeah, except that I've had my water bottles on lots of times, but yes, my somewhat penis shaped salt shaker here. But they have everything you could imagine for kitchenware in this red glass, and I think it's quite attractive. I wouldn't mind finding more of it.
Like you said, they actually have a product that people may or may not want. I mean, they also have a foot cream I buy. The only one I buy, because I like it. It does what I need it to do. I get
and there was stuff that my mother always bought. Now, when we were buying Avon, I was a teenager experimenting with so for me, I'd be like, "Ooh, there's sparkly eyeshadow. Can I have that, Mom?" Or like, "Hey, look at that cool looking lip gloss," because at the time lip gloss was the in thing, and everybody wanted like strawberry flavored, lip gloss. Although, what was it? Baby Bell was the Baby Bell's cheese. Baby Bell,
Bonnie Bell.
Bonnie Bell. That's it.
I had them in every flavor. I even had a chocolate milk one.
Yep.
But yeah,
Bonnie Bell.
Like health food product. Okay, just pick a weight loss. Okay, what happens when you lose that 20 pounds?
Well, also they tell you, it's funny because I had someone try and sell me Plexus, right? And so their whole pitch was, at first it was, "Oh, well, you don't have to do anything. You just have to drink this thing." And then it was, "Oh, well, it's not just that. It's all about changing your lifestyle." And then it was like, "Okay, well, I thought it was just drink this thing. What's this about also having to change my lifestyle?" And then it was also about, "Okay, well, I will sell you this, and then but you can sign up as a distributor to get the wholesale prices as opposed to the retail prices, so that again it gets you a incentive." And I was saying that 99% of the people who get into these sort of multi-level marketing, they actually don't make any money, or they actually go bankrupt. Or lose money. And some people, they do go bankrupt. I mean, because they have by the time, you don't think about it from month to month, and it just builds and builds and builds until, and, you keep telling yourself, oh, well, I'll get rid of it. I'll sell it, the next month will be my month. And it's, this whole thing where the people running these companies tell these people, oh, well, it's all about being positive and you need to be more positive. And it's your fault if you're not selling product. It's not the fact that, hey, maybe your cousins just want to buy leggings from like Walmart or whatever, or the fact that the quality isn't as good, or just they don't support that business model. Because I don't buy any MLM products. Like, because I don't support the business model. And I've been able, for the most part, to find, or actually, I can't think of anything that I haven't been able to find a counterpart to it.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough because it's like, I have looked for other powders, for an example.
Yeah.
But I haven't found any to my liking now.
Yeah, that you like, yeah.
I'm really particular about
Mhm.
scent because I cannot stand floral scents.
Okay.
Whether, I won't call it an allergy per se, but it just
Sensitivity, you say.
Yeah, it's like I just don't like overly flower, but I love a kind of a spicy, bouquet, so to speak. And
I love it.
Any
I'm like, you're such a lesbian, Beth.
yeah, every now and then the femme comes out. Don't get me going on hair products. Trust me. Yeah. When my hair was longer, I went totally bonzo on hair product, and it's like totally not me because it's like I had 1, 2, 3, 4. I had 7 different hair products I used every day.
Damn, woman. I don't even use that, and I got a shit ton of hair.
Yeah, you got, even when my hair was longer before I shaved it off again, it was just like, I think it finally hit me. I'm like, this is not.
I have
I'm a little nerdy about lotions too.
I have shampoo and I have conditioner, and I have a bottle of dry shampoo just in case I get cut short and I can't wash my hair.
And that's where these MLMs get you.
Yep.
It's like, no, I didn't go MLM for my lotions or for my hair product. I went high-end salon style bullshit. Don't ask. But it's like, they get you because you start and you think you need this and you think you need this, and it's like,
yeah, it's like with Plexus, they were like, okay, you need the drink stuff, and then they're like, but I also take the X Factor, and I also take the multivitamin, and I was just like, you're running into a lot of, financial, it seems like that's just a lot of money. And at first it went from, oh, well, this is like, yeah, this is $40 a month, and it was like, oh, well, you're actually spending a lot more money than you think you are, because you're getting all this other stuff too, because they keep telling you, oh, you'll get better results if you have the X Factor. And again, it's like, oh, don't change the lifestyle. But also, like, how it worked was, first of all, it had a shit ton of caffeine in it. And then second of all, it was just that. And it was it just this, like, the stevia, I think it was, like the fake sugar. And it just kind of gave you a rush because they also claim, oh, it gives you more energy.
Okay, well,
like, yeah.
Now I use stevia in all my baking because, diabetic.
Yeah.
But that's, because I have to.
Yeah, but yeah, they did that. And then it was just like, it didn't even really, and again, it was just like, you would have to drink also with it. You would have to drink so much water every day. And it's like, well, of course you're losing weight because you're drinking so much more water than you're used to. And
it all out.
Yeah, basically, yeah, that. And then it's also, they're telling you, oh, well, you get better results if you diet and exercise. And it's like, I'm sure you do.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, it's just like upselling at a burger joint. Oh, would you like a large or a supersized?
Mhm.
I mean, upselling is normal, like, but when you get to the excessive amounts, like you were just explaining, Morgan, it's just like the next thing, you go from $40 a month to 150.
Mhm.
And you don't even realize it because, And for individuals that sell the stuff, and this is where, I sometimes wonder, as far as, the cult mind thing, you know, how much of this bullshit have they been brainwashed to believe? Like, I had my one friend used to go to weekly local, regional meetings. She lived in Ontario, and she would go to a weekly Amway meeting, and then once a month they had a regional. And, God help you if you, tried to do something on the day she had this regional. I mean, it was just like almost like a cult mind thing. She had to go there. She had to, especially, and the weekly basically reinforced, just like going to church every week, reinforced this bullshit. And it's like, do you even hear yourself, what you're saying?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's just kind of that reinforcing, because that's why a lot of these places, they'll also do these conventions.
Yes.
And so it's like if you're with other people and they're just telling you the same thing over and over and hammering it into you, just be positive, and people come to you, or like, this is God's plan for you to, or you're a good person, so this is so you're going to be successful in this. And it's just they know, the people running these companies know how they make their money. It's all a scam, but
well, I think what makes, and I mean, I know we're specifically geared towards Amway. What's scary with Amway, especially now, considering Betty DeVos's position, is the tie into the DeVos family. Now, Betty DeVos is, related to the founder, one of the founders of Amway. They are to put it mildly, a highly religious family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I won't go, they're not ultra extreme, but they are extreme. The reason I won't say ultra is I haven't delved that deeply into them. I've gone as far back as Betty DeVos was, as far back as I needed to go at the time. So how much of their personal belief
is in that
is in this bullshit they're feeding to other people?
I think it's a lot. I mean, if you look at it, Trump has even appeared in like things promoting multi-level marketing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's all.
And
by the way, Beth, we had a chuckle over the fact that of the DeVos brothers, Betty married Dick.
Yeah. We won't touch that one.
All right. Well, I've actually got to run, but.
All right, fine. Go hang out with your French camp friend.
Yeah, one of my old classmates is in town, so it was the only night I could have done it.
You can go talk about weird ass shit together.
Yeah, let's relive traumas.
Oh, hey! Did you get a rock to go with that proposal? Let's see. Oh, hang on. Let me do the. Woo, girl.
Yeah.
All right, Jonathan.
Nice.
Good job, dude.
Yeah,
nice.
Wow. Well, send our congratulations to the groom to be.
All right, yes. I will.
And we won't hold it against him that he still believes in God if he does.
If he does, but but I'll be back next week. So
yeah. Oh, and we didn't tell you yet because we didn't get around to it. Next week we're going to be on Sunday.
Okay.
And we're going to be talking to Joe, doing an update on the Iglesia ni Cristo.
All right, sounds good. I will be there.
Cool beans. All right, go get lost. Go hug your corgi. He's mad.
He's very mad tonight.
Uh-oh. It's like, I didn't get a rock like that, damn it. You should tell Jonathan should have to buy him like a huge ass bone or something.
Yeah, that's what we'll have to do. We'll have to get him a big bone that's like bigger
Yep.
than he's long.
Yep. It's like, here you go. This is your bone for the rest of your life, Dougie.
All right, I'll see y'all later.
All right, have fun.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
But that's one of the things that it's like, I mean, I know you get this with any business model. I mean, we know stories in the news where business owners have forced their employees to go to Bible studies and stuff like that. Now, there's no outward appearance of that occurring in regards to Amway,
Right.
as far as the religious bullshit. But I wonder sometimes how much that transfers, even the mindset. And that's what's troubling about these MLMs. And I'm talking the more scammier ones. There are some legitimate MLM models out there where they have tried. I would put Avon kind of in that tier where, they have a product. They're really not out to scam people per se. And I don't think Amway is either initially, but they've done some pretty
kind of become that way.
heebie-jeebie stuff, I think, more for the sake of money than they have for the sake of actually scamming people, like the whole Ponzi bullshit that with what's his face from New York City.
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Madoff?
Madoff, Bernie Madoff.
I had to think of the name, and I was like, wait a minute, what's that name? But yeah.
It's the evil Bernie as opposed to the nice Bernie.
Both evil. That's a whole other story. But
so it's been bugging me for like the last 10 minutes now. There is a similar company to Amway in Canada. It starts with an R, and I cannot remember the name of it for fucking... They have like a catalog, kind of like Avon.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts with an R, and I can't fucking remember the name, and I can't figure out how to Google it to find out. That's
just
irritating.
Amway Canada.
No, it's not Amway. It's not Amway at all. It starts with an R, but it's similar. Like, it's a mail order company, but it's like they have okay products, but some of them are kind of like, really? You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's going to bug me now. I can't think of what it's called. I hate it when that happens. And I'm trying to... Let's
see.
And there's one website that says, like...
Roden?
Oh, wait.
Roden and Field?
No.
That's the only R listed.
Ah.
They have list of multi-level marketing companies. This is on Wiki.
But I don't know if this one would be an MLM or not. That's what I was going to look. I was like, oh, there's that one, because we bought stuff from them 3 or 4 years ago. They have what?
Nexium?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we mentioned that last week.
Yeah.
Because, I looked up the list, and there's like Tupperware is an MLM.
Yes, Tupperware. Well, the thing with MLM and I'm basing this on research I did 2009, so it's a little dated, but it's one of the easier business models.
Right.
Because if you think about it, in actuality, they don't necessarily have to have a warehouse. So they don't have to store this product. And so they cut all that overhead. Now, yeah, they do have to have a warehouse.
Got it. It's Regal.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, just on the list for Canada, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 50. Just for Canada. I can just imagine what for the US would be. So it is one of the easier
so here's a question, because we've talked, this was part of the original sort of blurb is, so, because I know you've gone over the what is a cult list with a lot of stuff before, and you're quite familiar with it. So, do MLMs like this have a lot of cult properties? Can we call them that?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Nixium, obviously, yes.
Yes.
Okay. Amway, iffy.
I'm like, I don't know of anybody that was asked to get branded for Amway.
Well, the thing with Amway, I think it's more of a regional influence. From my understanding is that you get the pumped up feeling when you go to the national conventions and all that shit, but it's the regional or the local distributorships where I think some of the cult mentality comes in. If you I'm sorry, I keep referring back to Jillian Epperly, but I'm on post number 22. I've written over 60,000 words.
Damn.
So she's forefront in my mind, but she was part of Landmark, okay, which is, in some circles, considered a cult. Landmark is an offshoot of Scientology, which is considered a cult and a religion. Okay. Then you have take that a step down. MMS, Carrie Rivera. She was a bishop in the Genesis 2 church. Jim Humboldt was initially part of Scientology.
Yes.
So now you have two. And I would not be surprised that if we can't shut Epperly down, eventually you're going to have offshoots from her.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Okay.
Because that's what happens.
We already have offshoots from MMS. Rivera,
well, and that's
quiet, but there's other people carrying it on.
All it takes is, one or two people that vehemently disagree about one detail to decide they're gonna do their own thing, and suddenly you have a splinter group.
Now, Amway specifically seems to have that aspect under control, in a sense that I have never seen a splinter group from Amway. There may be some.
Well, but in a way, though,
but
it depends. Like, I'm sure there are companies out there that were inspired by Amway, but have decided to do different products and whatever. Right. It's interesting. Regal is almost as old as Amway. It's 80 some years old.
A lot of these companies, like your Amway, Shackley's fairly new considering. Amway was like 59-ish. Shackley was around the 70s. A lot of these, Regal, are older companies.
I was shocked. Avon's been around since, I think we said it was the 1880s.
Yeah, Avon, I believe, if I remember correctly, Avon is the oldest.
It would make sense.
There is, not Harriet Carter, one of the catalog companies like Harriet Carter, which operates kind of, sort of, like an MLM, is actually as older, might be a few years older than Avon, but they're really not an MLM. But there are, Avon is actually one of the oldest companies.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as MLMs go. And
well,
you just don't, you might see a company offshooting being inspired by. But
yes. But yeah, you're not gonna see somebody who's like, well, I was like up in the executive of Amway and I disagreed with the CEO, so now I'm starting my own company. Right. And I'm gonna have very similar style, but this thing that I disagreed with is the difference.
Yeah. And allegedly, from some of the reading I've done concerning NXIVM, is they are also, this is unconfirmed, an offshoot of Scientology. At least some Scientology's thinking.
So they sure have the feel of Scientology.
Right. So as much as, and I'm not complimenting Scientology in any way, shape, or form, their, quote, business model works.
Yeah.
So yes, people are going to emulate it. Landmark more so than the other two. But just as we have different denominations in religion, the same applies in cults. Now, Amway does not seem to fit the pure definition of a cult on a national, international level, at least in my opinion. But there is cultish thinking if you look at the, national conventions, the weekly meetings or monthly meetings. I know some places have weekly. That is a little troubling to me personally. I'm sorry, but I can't figure out what I'm doing tomorrow other than working, But yeah, there's some aspects, but and I'm a rank amateur. To me, it just doesn't have the feel that it's a cult. I mean, like when we did our first episode on NXIVM, I was very hesitant to call them a cult.
Yeah.
Second episode, not so much. It was, okay. I did a little bit. The more
branding with a sex cult, okay, maybe cult.
Yeah, it was like the more I dug into it, it was like, oh yeah. And then, as you said, I used the Boz Harrington one. He put out the 7 signs you're in a cult. There are a couple other ones that I use too, but I usually refer to Boz because it's one for some odd, strange reason, I've managed to kind of memorize. But probably like so much. But yeah, but there's other ones. I mean, and there's like, Steve Hansen's organization, and then there's a couple other cultic organizations who actually have files on some of these groups. And I do refer to them, and I'm trying to, well, not just me, but we're trying to get IC, International Cultic Studies Association, ICSA, I think.
Okay.
We're trying to get them interested in Jillian. Because, the whole cabbage shit and the salt, that aside, I mean, she fits. I mean, I had no issue calling this woman a cult because she fit everything. The only thing she didn't fit was the whole sexual perversion, where the cult leader, has sex with every fucking female member in the group.
Yeah.
But, a lot of people are not aware there are female cult leaders.
Oh, yeah.
So but then one of my friends was like, well, she does this because she has this no sex, no procreation because you're on a death curve or some bullshit.
Oh, yeah, because if your body thinks it needs to procreate, then it's going to die.
Yeah. So it's like she has this whole, so, and my friend.
But there have been lots of asexual cults out there, too, where that they forbid any kind of sexuality, even and the leaders issue that sort of thing too. So it's both. It's either they want to fuck everybody or they don't want to fuck anybody.
Yeah. So I mean, I never thought of it that way. See, Amway does not have those specific signs, at least not on a national, international level. And I mean, yeah. They're should be responsible for what their regional and local distributors do, but I don't know how much control they actually do have. I mean, they have bylines and all that stuff, but bylaws, not bylines. wrong job.
So just an interesting thing I've been looking here because the whole Regal thing was bugging me. So remember I said Regal was Canadian?
Mm-hmm.
It is. There's also, though, Regal Wear. which is kitchen, like pots and pans, which is an American company,
Yes, I have
which is listed as an MLM. but this is Regal Home and Gifts, which is a Canadian company. So I think it probably falls under MLM too, though, because it operates almost exactly the same way as Avon.
Yeah.
So you have like your representative that drops catalogs off all over the place, and they want you to order through them and all of that. So
yeah. I mean, generally, like Morgan was saying, she doesn't purchase anything from companies that are MLM. And generally, you know, I kind of support, like, I really try to avoid Walmart because I do not agree with their business practices. I do not agree with their, you know, well, we'll just leave that business practices. But there are some things that I just cannot get anywhere else. And in a pinch, I can't wait on shipping from Amazon.
yeah.
It's up to a week. And if it's something I need, Amazon ain't gonna work. And then there's the whole caveat now with Jeff Bezos, you know, and some of his deals. But I live in a very rural town. I take away Amazon and I'm fucked. Okay, so I kind of have to deal with the good and the bad. But if I could find an alternative, and I am actively looking because I'm not overly happy with some of the things I'm hearing about Amazon, I would, you know, change that. I mean, we have a Dollar General in town, which is a miniature version of Walmart.
Right.
But for me, I don't drive.
Yep.
They now moved the store a half mile outside of town, which now makes it a good mile, little over, maybe a little less, walk for me. And walking is not my forte anymore. Now, before my strokes, no problem. I used to walk to the store every other day.
Yep.
A mini fridge with no freezer, so obviously buying meats was every other day, and my meat consists of fish and chicken. Lately, I've been going back to my vegan stuff, so no meat. But you got to work with what you have, and for me, I'm very limited because I don't drive. But it's like every company has its good and bad, and I try not to support companies that I don't agree with, but sometimes you have no choice.
Yeah. Yeah. See, for us, it's way easier for us to shop at Walmart, and because there's like 8 of them within 20 minutes of me.
Yeah.
So and they're just way cheaper than everything else. Like back when we had the Canadian equivalent called Zellers.
Yes, I remember.
I used to try and shop at Zellers because I wanted to support the Canadian company, but they had a shitty selection compared to Walmart, and their prices was anywhere from $1 to $5 more, depending on what it was. So I was like, well, I'd like to shop with you, but A, you either don't have what I want or I can't afford to shop with you. So it sucks, but what are you going to do?
And that's why, like, especially with those that are designed around the MLM, you have to be careful. I mean, barring my issues with any type of health product or weight loss product or supplementation, I don't agree with supplementation unless it's directed by a physician. Basically, you're just making your piss a little more expensive. You need iron, and those that are diagnosed as iron deficient should take iron. Okay.
Yeah.
Prescribed by your doctor. I have no issue with that. But when you're taking all these multivitamin plus extra D, extra C, yada, 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 because you think you're going to boost your immune system, like some of these companies say, that I have a problem with. Because basically your piss went from being maybe $1 a squirt to $10 a squirt. You know, that's kind of just, to me, asinine. Because
now don't tell people that, because then all those weirdos that think drinking it's a thing are gonna want to start marketing it.
Oh, they already have. That's next on my list, by the way. We'll be doing an episode on urine therapy sometime in the next 2 months.
Ew.
Yeah, and turpentine. Yes, did you know drinking turpentine was very good? You know, this is the kind of bullshit that, in some cases, not all MLMs, obviously, are going towards this MLM business idea. Now, turpentine is not, urine therapy is not, but this is the type of bullshit. You see it with health stuff, vitamins. Okay?
Yeah.
Study after study in the last, we'll say 5 to 7 years have basically shown that taking added vitamins does jack shit. Okay? You cannot boost your immune system. If you're boosting your immune system, darling, you're giving yourself an autoimmune disorder. Okay, you do not want an overactive immune system. That's when it turns on your body and starts attacking your body, and you have something like lupus. No, you don't want to boost your immune system. And no, your kidneys and your livers don't need detoxing. If they did, you better fucking be in the hospital.
Yeah.
But, and this ties in, into the whole, dumbing down the society, because this is like, I mean, it's basic science. If your kidneys and your liver are not eliminating the metabolics in your system, then you need to be seeing a doctor, because if your kidneys stop functioning and you're building up a toxin.
Do you remember hearing about the Kanoki foot pads?
The detox foot pads that pull your foot because it's wet?
Well, no, what it does is it doesn't pull anything. It's created to turn black when it's wet.
Oh, okay.
When it's damp.
Yeah.
So the one I'm pretty sure it was the Kanoki ones that they tested, and they found that, like, because if you stick them to the bottom of your feet and you wear them to, like, you're supposed to wear them to bed or whatever, then chances are your feet might sweat, and if your feet sweat, then it turns the thing black, and it's like, ooh, look, I have toxins, and it's supposed to, like, draw the toxins out of your feet. Like, come on, like, really?
Well, I'll give you one very simple word of advice. If you hear the word toxin
or detox,
run.
Yeah.
If they can't define what toxin,
yeah, they're just like, well, toxins in your body, bad stuff.
What toxins? In some cases, California at the moment, the air you breathe is toxic. Or
yeah.
I can't remember which, because
go to Hamilton. Spend a day in Hamilton, man.
And this is what these, well, not all, some of the MLMs prey upon, is the fact that not everybody is scientifically literate. I have a pretty good knowledge base, okay? I'm going to brag here. But there's some things I still don't get right, and I still have to look up. I still screw up poison versus toxin, okay?
Yeah.
But when you, like as I said, I'm on post number 23 for Jillian Epperly. That's over 60,000 words in the last month. Just on one. Okay? And it's like going through her science is like a headache, because it's so wrong. She mixes a element in a compound. They're two totally, I mean, she creates her own definition. So, learning, like, especially, concerning MLMs, especially with the health stuff, learning, keywords you should watch out for that might trigger, maybe I should do a little more investigation on this. I mean, Amway's products, from what I can tell will not hurt you. Whether they help you is a whole different ballgame.
Or whether they're worth what Amway is selling them for. Yeah, if they're the quality, etc.
Do a price comparison. I mean, okay, they're trying to sell you a bottle of vitamin C. Well, go. Jillian Epley, Templar.
Epperly. This is the woman who does the Jilly juice. She was on Dr. Phil in the spring. She has a recipe out for this fermented cabbage juice slop and claims it heals all everything and everything.
Templar, go to Jeff Holliday's website, his YouTube channel, look up A Song of Salt and Poo. He does a 5-part series. It's combined over 2 hours worth of information, but he does a wonderful job of ripping her to shreds. I believe Jeff has a bit more of a science background than I do, so he might he gets into it a little more than I do. I keep it on a layman's perspective, but there's a bunch of stuff out there, and I know Non Sequitur has also attacked
that was something she agreed to go on. Friends of ours do a show on YouTube called the Non Sequitur Show. She had agreed to do the show, do an interview on the show with them, and then not very long before the show she backed out. And she said that she went and watched what they do. It's like, well, first of all, wouldn't you want to know what somebody does before you agree to go on a show? But whatever. And because they're pretty, if they think something's bullshit, they're gonna confront it and be like, prove it's not bullshit. And she didn't like that, so she refused to do the show and started calling them a bunch of names and stuff. And
not too long after that incident, she put out a Facebook post, and yes, I do follow her, but no, not under my name, where she said, if you want to do an interview with me, you must do my protocol before you can even criticize it. Lady, your protocol based on 1 gallon of juice that you recommend that we drink per day is 55,200 milligrams of salt. The daily recommended allowance is anywhere from 1,500 to 2,300 milligrams. You are talking over 9 times.
Yep.
Daily recommended. She wants a person to drink 1 gallon of this slop, and I ferment. Okay, what she proposes as a ferment is not. It is rotted cabbage slop, as I call it. There's too much salt for it to ferment. If you get too little salt, it will mold. Too much salt, and it will just be salty flavored cabbage water. Trust me, I've made a few batches of that lately. So yeah, you have to be pretty, not exacting, but pretty, there's a fine window of how much is too much and how much is not enough as far as the salt. 55,200 milligrams is way too much. But yeah, Jeff Holiday, Non Sequitur does a piece, Without a Crystal Ball by Catherine Polson, blogger on Pathos, has also tackled the topic as well. Myself, if you want to go to Havoc and Chaos, I've put out 22 postings. I've been going through her book. I'm done with the main part of the book. I'm heading into the science, or lack thereof. So yeah. But she hasn't gone MLM. I think she's trying to, but her quote protocol is quite bad that, well, if she does, FTC probably will be on her case. But yeah, you have to, I mean, with any of these MLMs, going back to what we were really, if you see certain words, learn certain keywords that you should be aware of that might be red flags: toxin, poisons, detoxing, boosting your immune system. You see that, a little bit more research, dig in a little more and find out.
One of my peeves is books or videos. It's like the such and such secrets that they don't want you to know. It's like,
Yeah, and it's like, if this information is so groundbreaking, why the fuck are you charging for it?
yeah.
If you're trying to help humanity, why are you charging for this information? Why not put it out there for free and let people make donations if it's worth their while? I have gotten books, I will admit, pirated, read said book, decided I liked said book, decided I want a hard copy of said book, and gone and purchased said book. Okay, maybe I'm a little weird in that sense. I've also read books that are absolutely, utterly fucking terrible, but had, I purchased a book on the Satanic Panic. I was reading, there were like bits and pieces scattered throughout various websites, and I'm like, I gotta get this book. I gotta see if this quote is legitimate. So I ended up purchasing the book. I did purchase it through Amazon, but it was by Tipper Gore. It was, yeah, I had to buy her book on the Satanic Panic. I used to have a copy, but I have lost it in various moves in the last 30 years. But it's like, yeah, I mean, why are you charging for this information if it's so fucking groundbreaking? One caveat I will make, that's one thing. Now, yes, Jillian has a book out there, but she makes a lot of her information, if you want to call it that, available via her Facebook Live videos. She sometimes interacts on her Facebook page, but she runs it in a very dictatorial manner.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. Hence why Beth has a sock account on that page. But if your information is that groundbreaking, which Jillian thinks hers is, she makes it pretty much, really, in the long run. I mean, granted, yes, every other post is by my fucking book. The basics of the information is out there, and her rambling word salads of thought, she puts out on Facebook. So she doesn't fall into that category. I will give her credit for that. But you have, other companies. Oh, you got to buy our book, buy our CD, like you were saying, Deb. And it's like, why?
Yeah.
I mean, if you have good Google foo, and sometimes mine fails me, and I'll have to ask one of my friends. You can find out pretty much anything you need to know without having to buy a book or a CD. If you scour YouTube, for example, you may find, these so-called videos. Now, Kent Hovind, he puts his out on YouTube basically for free. He does ask for donations, if you want to buy the whole series. But his information's out there. Okay? Gotta give him kudos for that. But there's the, other marketing companies that are just like, oh, you gotta get this for the next step. And it's like, I'm not paying another $295 for this shit.
Yeah.
One Tom Bosley.
Well, and then there's times where you want to vet the information, but you don't want to support whomever has developed the information, and that becomes tough. It's like, I know it's not a publication, but I would love to go and see the Ark Encounter firsthand. I'm not going to give Ken Ham my money. Yeah. Just like, no. If somebody, I wish I had been there the day they opened with the protest when Eric Hovind was giving out free passes to atheists. I would have taken that offer for sure, but I'm not going to pay actual money to some loser like Ken Ham to further his exploits.
I think, too, it depends on why you want to do it. Like, I have bought in books that, well, really, like, what the fuck are you thinking? But in order to critique something or review it or whatever, you have to know the information. And there was nowhere else to get the information.
Yeah.
And, you know, what YouTube videos and websites and etc. just weren't enough. And I would go and buy the book, but, for me, where I am, going anywhere is pretty much out of the question, unless, Deb happens to be driving by and picks me up along the way. But yeah, I would love to go to.
It could happen.
Yeah. I mean, if you ever decide to go to Ark Encounter, let me know about 2 weeks beforehand so I can try to save the $40 to get in.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know. But yeah, you have to determine for yourself, what's worth it. I mean,
yeah.
I have so much. I mean, if anybody ever looked at my history profile, and I don't delete my history. If I do, it's after a year or two. It's probably why my computer, well, not this one, but my old one used to run so slow. If they were to ever look at my history,
be very confused.
They would be very, very confused. Dry spot.
Yeah, and not all of these MLMs are necessarily doing bad things. Like, I look at stuff like this Regal here from Canada, and they just sell stuff, right? And I'm looking at it going, oh, pie shield for baking pie crusts. I have a couple of those. I could probably use another one type thing. Ooh, in fact, that's a really cool looking pie weight. And I don't think I know I got into like the kitchen tools and I'm like, ooh, pie weight.
Yeah, that's a terrible section for me to be in. And anyway, well,
yeah.
Okay, you were mentioning the pie shield and the pie weights. Well, could you go to, in your case, Walmart and find it cheaper?
No. Because I've never seen a pie shield or pie weights at Walmart.
Okay.
The only place that I know of, so do you guys have Lee Valley?
Doesn't ring a bell.
Lee Valley is, okay, so do you remember the old model of consumers distributing?
Yes.
Or yeah, so where you would go to a location and they would have a showroom with examples of their products, but everything is ordered through like a catalog kind of thing. And they usually would have it in the back. Like, it's sort of like IKEA, but everything's assembled in a way.
Yeah.
But Lee Valley is like that, but it's like a higher end home hardware store.
Okay.
So like you can buy all kinds of like woodworking stuff and like gardening stuff and different types of tool. Like their real specialty is like you can buy like actual planes and such for woodworking there. You can buy like vintage hardware, all that kind of stuff. But they have other products too, like, and they have a kitchen section. So my pie shields, which is like a strip of silicone that goes around the edge of a pie crust so that when you're trying to make sure the middle gets baked, the edges don't get burnt.
Right.
It shields the edges from too much heat. So mine come from Lee Valley. But this pie weight, which looks like a silicone disc, I've never seen before.
Yeah.
So I couldn't. And the pie weights that I do have are like little ceramic balls, and those come from a restaurant supply store in town.
I mean, there's some things, like I was saying, like that's when you either bite the bullet and go ahead and buy them, or you take some time and go to various online stores to see, if you can get a better price, but don't forget to factor in your shipping. Because Amazon had my 2.5 ounce bottle of spice that I wanted, but I don't actually. It wasn't Amazon. I think it was the actual website. But they wanted $22.95 for shipping. So that would have made
I just bit the bullet and spent $25 on shipping on something today that not from Amazon though.
Yeah, so you have to factor that in, and it's like, but with MLMs specifically, I think you really have to take that time to find out whether the product you're interested in is actually worth the price to pay.
Yes.
And then if you're like myself, who has issue, whether it be with their political stance, whether they be with their religious stance, their business practice, their human rights, practices. Like, we all know that, Walmart has really shitty human rights considering China, Bangladesh area, with the sweatshops and stuff. You have to think about, if that's your thing, you want to think about that when you're supporting these businesses. And now, as I said, Amway, I think they're, from what I'm familiar with, their product in general will not harm you. Will it help you? That's a whole nother ball game. If you want to go down that road,
well, and like companies like Herbalife and that are supposed to be, magic weight loss cures, like that, you really got to take with a grain of salt and really examine what kind of a program that they're offering, and maybe consult with a physician, and do they think that that's right for you? Could it work? Is there science behind it? Things like that. When you start mucking around with diets and your body and stuff.
With health, any type of health advice, it's something that you got to take the time to look at, and hopefully in the process not get snowed in in the whole thing. So, but yeah, as far as Amway being a cult, I mean, from my perspective, I don't really see it as a cult, heavy duty cult, like with NXIVM.
So, would you say it has cultic tendencies?
On a regional, local level, yes. On a national, international level, it's questionable. But
gotcha.
I mean, that's just my opinion. I mean, you could take someone like Steve Hansen, who does, cultic deprogramming, for lack of a better word, for a living, for lack of a better word. He might have a totally different perspective. I would go with what he says, not what I say. I don't see it. I mean, my red flags around Amway is just the fact that, okay, you're overpaying for XYZ product, and they treat their distributors like shit, or their low end distributors. As far as making money, they don't. So yeah, it's one of those things. Whereas with, one of the biggest red flags for me with NXIVM, besides the fact that they were branding women, they were basically selling information
and extorting their loyalty.
Yeah, I mean, I have no problem. Like, okay, I've gone to hear, quote, inspirational speakers, one of which being Martina Navratilova. She was in Penn State about 7-8 years ago, and I went to see her, but it was free. And
right.
One of my friends had tickets and passes to get in, and couldn't go, and gave me and my partner passes. And Martina Navratilova has been one of my idols since I was about knee high to a grasshopper. So yeah, I went. Would I pay to go see that? I don't think so, even though I love Martina Navratilova. Selling information, in my opinion, is bullshit. I mean, you can go online, especially now, or even go to a library and find inspirational information for free.
Yep.
I mean, you can go to the library, check out the book on how to be a better businessman for free, generally.
Yep.
I don't know if they charge for library, so it's like one has to basically, use your common sense.
I think that's a good way to look at it. But I think we're about ready to wrap things up. I know it's a little bit early, but we've already spent a whole hour on this topic before, so this was meant to be the part 2 that didn't happen last week. That's okay. Fuck you, Murphy. We made it through anyway. Meh.
Yeah, we didn't have any Murphy problems. Yay!
Yay! So, as I mentioned when Morgan left, next week the show will be on Sunday. So do mark that on your calendar. I'll send out a notification early enough with a big, hey, remember new date and time, etc. But be Sunday at 7:30 normal time, just on Sunday. And we're gonna have our friend Joe Magestro back, and you can blame him for the time change because he's like pre-booked on Monday forever. So blame Joe, but we're gonna do an update about the Iglesia Ni Cristo, or INC. There's been some news come out, and we wanted to discuss that. And also, he is working on a book, so we want to chit-chat about that a bit, too. So that'll be Sunday, 7:30 p.m., and that's the 25th of November. It's fucking 25th of November already.
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah, the last couple of months seem to have flown by, but all I've been doing...
You're telling me... Damn, I mean, we're taking Vlad for his next checkup tomorrow night, like for his booster shot, whatever, and then we're gonna talk appointments for the SNP.
Yeah, do that. I thought Z. He started humping one of my blankies, and I was like, "Yep, time to get snipped before you discover spraying."
Yep.
I mean, it's more so important for me because I live above the restaurant, so it's like, yeah, they don't want that smell downstairs.
No. But yeah, like he's 3 months old already. I'm like, where the fuck? How did that happen? But so anyway, before we wrap up, where do we find you, Beth?
Easiest way is on Twitter, Dune9998, and I post anytime I make a post on my blogs. I've actually kind of reactivated one. It was kind of in a hiatus, but there, and that connects to the blog Havoc and Chaos, which is on Blogger. You can find me under Havoc and Chaos. I'm usually put out a post a day. Lately, it's been on Apperly, and yes, she's taking over most of my time, but it's a clusterfuck. I mean, I'm just now getting to a section of a book on the quote science that supposedly proves theory. So I don't know how I'm going to attack that because I'm not a scientist. I'm a layperson, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, that connects to the blog, and it connects to Facebook, which is under Beth A. Hambridge. If you send me a friend's request, if you don't have mutuals with Deb or with Morgan, just let me know it's pertaining to the show, and I will approve you. But if you don't, I won't.
There you go.
Getting a few troll requests, and I know where they're coming from, but I don't really care because I don't approve them anyway. So, but my Facebook is public, so. But yeah, I only let people on that I like.
Awesome. And well, there's also Holy Crap, the Vlogcast, which is Sunday mornings at 12:05 a.m. and holycrapthevlogcast.com, or you find it on YouTube. And yesterday, I guess technically yesterday because we started at midnight. Yeah, we were a little shorthanded, so I had our good friend Maddie Love from Atheist Talk Radio join us, and hilarity ensued. So we enjoyed having her join us. And it was funny because it started out, it was just me, Bridget, and Shujin. So I grabbed Maddie, and then all of a sudden Joey showed up and Joseph showed up, and it's like, oh yeah, Maddie shows up, and then people start to arrive.
Yeah, I saw that. Why was she there's a full compliment. Why the hell was she texting me? Are you
Yeah, that was because they all showed up after Maddie, but that's okay. So, yeah, and that's about it. So we'll be back here again Sunday at 7:30 p.m., day early. And we're going to give you an update on the Iglesia ni Cristo. So until then, and of course, Morgan, you can find her at Mostring, Mostring on Twitter, Morgan Allstringer on Facebook. See, I need to go drink something. But yeah, and if you want to drop her congratulations because she keeps doing awesome things, go ahead and do that. And we'll see everybody next week.